Hello everybody and welcome. This is History Dude, and today we will be continuing our series of the history of battle with the Battle of Kadesh, one of the most famous battles from the area of chariot warfare. Now, to begin, its origins lay in the contest between the Egyptians and the Hittites for control of Lebanon and Syria, which is in this region right here. Lebanon's right about here and Syria's right about here. Which laid between their two empires. Now, in the first year of the war, Pharaoh Ramses II, also to note, this is from 1400 BCE, and the battle took place in 1275 BCE, so the Mitannis had withdrawn at this point, so it was just on the border between the Hittites and the Egyptians. And in the first year of the war, Pharaoh Ramses II carried out a successful campaign up the eastern Mediterranean coast. And this is him, Ramses II, apparently catching the Hittites off guard. But when he returned the following year, the Hittite king Muwatalli had assembled an army from all his domains to confront the Egyptians. Now, Ramses II is one of the most famous rulers of Egypt's new kingdom. Ramses II inherited the throne in 1279 BCE and held it for 67 years. He strove to project an image of himself as a successful war leader, and in many of his monuments and temples he often had represented himself as a charioteer trampling upon his enemies or smiting captives with a mace. Besides the Hittites, Ramses waged wars against the ancient kingdoms of Moab, Edom, and Negeb, as well as the Libyans. Now, in the Battle of Kadesh, Ramses' forces consisted of 4 divisions, with chariots at the core of each. Now, drawn by 2 horses, the chariots were light and fast, traveling at speeds of up to 24 miles per hour, 38 kilometers per hour, and capable of very sharp turns on their widely spaced wheels. Each vehicle had a crew of 2, one to steer and one to fight, the charioteer's main weapon being the composite bow. The Hittites also depended on chariots, and although theirs were heavier and slower, with a crew of 3. The extra crew member may have acted as a shield bearer or may have jumped off the chariot and onto the battlefield to provide infantry support, a role played in the Egyptian force by specifically trained soldiers who ran alongside the chariots. If the Egyptian charioteer had a shield, the driver probably held it as well as the reins. Now, on the day of the battle, Ramses' divisions advanced towards Kadesh, a city on the Orontes River. Ramses and his lead division, believing that the Hittites to be some distance away, set up camp near the city. Now, Muwatalli had set up a trap, however. His men were concealed on the other side of the Orontes River, which you can see here. Here's the Hittite camp, and here's the Egyptian camp. Let's see. 25,000 Hittite chariots emerged to attack the Egyptian divisions still approaching Kadesh. The Hittites routed one of the divisions, which you can see here, and as you can see, the Hittite chariots crossed the river and attacked the Ra division. The Ra division is surprised and dispersed, and the Hittites go on to attack the Egyptian camp. At the same time that this is happening, Muwatalli unleashed 1,000 more chariots across the Orontes. And here you can see that. And according to the Egyptian version of events, Ramses mounted his chariot and single-handedly cut down thousands of his enemies, forcing them to flee into the river. And it certainly seems that an Egyptian counterattack, demonstrating superior chariot speed and archery power, carried the day. But the battle was not the clear-cut victory the Egyptians had proclaimed. Now, basically what happened is Ramses led his chariots to assault the Egyptian camp because that's where the Hittites were, and the Hittites fled with heavy losses. And Muwatalli launched an attack with his reserves, but Ramses moves against the Hittite attack with the Niaran division, and the Ta division nears the battlefield as well. So once they see those reinforcements, all hope was lost, and they just totally fled. And from after this, Ramses withdrew his forces after the engagement, and when both sides agreed to what effectively was the world's first peace treaty, Kadesh remained a Hittite possession. So Even though it was an Egyptian victory, the Hittites maintained possession of Kadesh. Now, the Hittites had thwarted the renewal of Egyptian power in Syria. And here you can see a depiction of Ramses II during the Battle of Kadesh, mounted on his chariot, using his bow. And here are some Egyptian weaponry. Now, one of the most effective weapons in the armies of ancient Egypt was the composite bow. Now, consisting of a wooded core with horn glued on the front and sinew on the back, this was a powerful device that could shoot an arrow at a distance of 575 feet, which is about 175 meters. In Egypt's New Kingdom period, which lasted between 1550 and 1609 BC, or not 1550 to 1069 BCE, the arrowheads were mostly bronze, although iron or bone were also used. Soldiers also employed a range of axes, hatchets, and swords, mostly made of bronze. Distinct epsilon-style axes, so-called because they resembled the Greek letter, were much in use in the earlier Middle Kingdom period, which was 2023 to 1720 BCE. And here you can see the epsilon-style axe from the 11th dynasty funerary temple of Menhotep II. Here you can see an Egyptian lion shield from circa 1325 BCE, which is just about 50 years before the Battle of Kadesh. Here you can see some painting of soldiers from King Tutankhamun's tomb, or not king, Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb. So you can see how the Egyptian foot soldier was dressed. You can see some Nubians in black, and you can see the Egyptian short sword, which had a handle that could be gripped very tightly, and it had a very sharp tip that was designed to kill outright. And that is about it that I can teach you about the Battle of Kadesh. I hope you have enjoyed and found this lesson to be informative. If there is anything I can do to improve on these lessons or make them more entertaining, please do not hesitate to let me know, and I will do that. But for now, I will say have a great day, and I hope you had an awesome time. So with that, have an awesome day.